For this very interesting top story that we're following this morning, a new California bill could allow kids as young as 12 to get vaxxed without their parents' approval. So I do want to head out to the Palms area of California. That's where Fox 11 Los Angeles' Chelsea Edwards is joining us with the latest. Chelsea, good morning to you. Definitely some controversial legislation. Can you talk about how this was first initiated and, how it kind of came to light over there in the state?
Absolutely. Yeah. And good morning, Regina. So the argument here and the reason that this bill was introduced is essentially that kids ages 12 and older are old enough to make the decision for themselves. And if their parents happen to have belief systems that are against the COVID-19 vaccine, these kids 12 and up should be allowed to get them anyway without their parental consent or their parents' knowledge even. So it really is designed to give kids at preteens through teenagers that ability to make those decisions for themselves. And interestingly, this isn't new in the state of California. As it stands right now, kids ages 12 and up can currently consent to some other vaccines, also some treatments on their own without their parents' consent. This is basically just going to add to the list of things that they can choose voluntarily for themselves. So the bill's called SB 866. It would basically lift the parental requirement for any vaccine that's been approved by the FDA and the CDC. So currently the COVID-19 vaccine would fall under that category. So right now here in the state of California, minors ages 12 to 17, they can't be vaccinated without permission from their parents unless the vaccine is specifically designed to prevent a sexually transmitted disease. So, for instance, kids as young as 12 right now can currently consent to the hepatitis B and the HPV vaccines, also to treatment for things like STDs, substance abuse, and mental health disorders, but they are not old enough to consent to the COVID-19 vaccine without their parents' consent. So this bill was introduced by Democratic Senator Scott Wiener of San Francisco. This is the first to be proposed this year by a group of Democratic lawmakers who are fighting to strengthen vaccination laws across the country and also to target misinformation during the pandemic. As you mentioned, Regina, this is expected to face some pretty fierce opposition by anti-vaccines and parental rights groups. Don't even know the scope right now of all the people that are going to be outraged by this. But this bill would make the state of California the state with the youngest age for vaccine consent. Interestingly, though, California would be the first state, but Washington, D.C. currently allows kids ages 11 and up to make decisions for themselves on things like inoculation. And that is within Washington, D.C. That is the youngest territory, but the youngest state would be California if this is adopted. And if the bill is passed by the legislature and then signed into law by Governor Gavin Newsom, it would go into effect in just over a year from now, so January 1st of 2023. But again, expected to meet quite a bit of controversy.
Yeah, definitely, Chelsea. And something that I want to clarify that you kind of touched on. So this is not just COVID-19 vaccines. This is other general vaccines. Am I right?
That's correct. Yeah. So as it stands right now, it's only certain vaccines that kids ages 12 to 17 can consent to by themselves. If this is approved and goes into effect next year, this would include all vaccines that are approved by the FDA and the CDC. So that includes things that aren't on the list right now, also things that could potentially be developed in the future, things that haven't been identified yet. But so anything that is approved by the FDA and the CDC, kids 12 to 17 would be able to make this decision for themselves. Parents wouldn't have to consent to it or even know about it.
And now, as you mentioned, Chelsea, when legislation pops up in one state, it's, kind of a domino effect that you can see in other states. Do you anticipate that other states will start doing this as well?
It's certainly possible. Interestingly, though, this isn't a new thing. There are some states that already have laws like this in effect. This would just make California the youngest. So, for instance, Alabama, kids as young as 14 can make decisions like this themselves, don't need parental approval or knowledge to be able to get the vaccines that they so choose. Also, Oregon, that is 15 years old, then a little bit older at 16. Rhode Island and South Carolina allow kids 16 and up to make those decisions for themselves. So this isn't a new thing across the country. This would just make California the very youngest age of consent in the country for kids to be able to make these decisions like this.
Yeah, I can't imagine when I was 12. No, I don't want this shot, Mom. Sorry. So we'll definitely see how this pans out. But Fox 11 Los Angeles, Chelsea Edwards, thank you so much for joining us. And we'll continue to keep an eye on this legislation. You have a good day.
Thanks so much. You too.